All right.
So here's an important message for teenagers. I was lecturing about BPA on thermal paper at a college a few years ago, and I told the story of how thermal paper works, and that there's no dye in the paper. There's no ink in the paper. There's a dye inside the paper that reacts with BPA on the surface to cause the print to come out. And a young man puts his hand up and says, Dr. Myers, I burned those papers. Is that going to be a problem? And I had a picture in my brain when he said that of a little crumpled up pile of thermal paper being burned. And I was picturing the smoke whirling off. And I said, look, just don't breathe it in. Hoping to calm things down a little bit. And then another guy in the room says, no, you don't understand. He rolls his joints with those papers.
Oh no!
Yeah.
He was inhaling it.
He was inhaling it directly.
Oh.
And I
Terrible.
I couldn't believe it. So that night I went online, consulted Dr. Google, and found that there was an active debate in a community of people who do that, concluding that as long as there's no ink on the paper, they're safe. Even though ink is not an issue. There's never any ink on thermal paper. It's all the interaction between the BPA on the surface, which causes a dye to change from clear to dark when it rises to the surface.
So are they selling this paper for joint
Oh,
rolling?
they're using used receipts, or they're getting rolls of receipts. The companies aren't selling it for that purpose, I don't think.
Okay, but they're just grabbing a roll of receipts and using it.
Because it's the perfect size. Oh, and one other thing. So that technology depends upon having these little bubbles of dye embedded in the paper. Okay, and when it's embedded in the paper, it's clear. When it comes out of the printer, there are hot needles that are busting the bubble so that it comes to the surface and combines with BPA. Well, it turns out when you burn the paper, the bubbles sparkle.
But you can't see the sparkle?
Oh, you can see the sparkle.
Oh.
That's part of the allure of it. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And so the next day, I called my friend, Dr. BPA, Fred Von Saal, who I worked with closely now for decades. And I told him about this. And he was lecturing in his class at the University of Missouri that day. And he asked people in the lecture hall, do any of you know about this? Do any of you do this? And 3 young boys put their hands up and said, yeah, I do that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So we got to get the world to know that.
You
That's
definitely
not
have.
okay.
It's not okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's just like smoking plastic
Well,
in a way.
it is. It's one of the things that the regulators depend upon when they make rules about what you can and can't do, is they depend upon you doing what they say is okay. None of them have ever thought that someone might burn BPA paper to roll a joint. But nonetheless, lots of kids are doing it. So lots of kids are getting swamped with estrogen signals because BPA mimics estrogen.
Oh, that's really terrifying.
Yeah.